Ultimate You by Sharon Pearson, page 24. Teach yourself to become comfortable with making mistakes. I'm saddened by how many people think they have a procrastination problem when what they really have is a terrible relationship with their own humanity. They will avoid anything, including the things they suspect they may love, to avoid the feeling of being revealed to be human. And most of the people who I see held by the throat by this fear are terrified, not by what others may think or say, but by what they may think and say to themselves. I see people hiding, making excuses, pretending they're too busy, cowering behind busy family lives, lying to themselves with the pleasantry, "I'll do it later," or they're declaring a very reasonable sounding fear of success/failure. In honest moments, they're berating themselves about how small they're being, but doing their best to keep the show going with well-worn platitudes, trapped in the quicksand of their minds. If you can't face your own humanity, then you can't face the fact that you are capable of making mistakes. You can't accept that you don't have all of the answers, that you don't have it all together, that you're not completely confident all of the time, that you feel shame when you think about failing, and that you feel terrified by the very idea of being seen to fail, even by yourself. If this describes you, then you feel trapped in a cage you built for yourself. And yet, you're no different to anyone else. The whole of humanity, everyone, making mistakes, overcoming setbacks, facing challenges, living while flawed. Sitting with this is not easy in the beginning. You've been taught to bounce away from what we feel is shame at the thought of making mistakes. But what if, instead of trying to avoid mistakes, you committed to accepting that you will make them, and that to make them as you learn was vital and necessary for your journey to your center self? Challenge your conditioning. Here's an insight that was a wonderful source of comfort to me. If when you grow up, you were shamed when you made mistake, or you were mocked or felt outcast, you associated making mistakes with being emotionally abandoned. When I understood this, it was comforting to me because it informed me that my journey was never about me getting it together, but instead it was about me embracing my emotionality to welcome, celebrate, acknowledge, own, and allow myself the experience of emotions that I had pushed away since childhood. When you were growing up, the big people in your life held tightly to their insecurities and then handed them to you. You didn't know that the flaws was in giving you in their insecurities. A child doesn't have a choice but to accept their big people's endowments. But you, as an empowered, centered adult, have a choice. You can continue to listen to the record in your head, which is your big people's record that was given to you, or you can start to write a new one. Start with a small question as you work to develop trust in yourself. Is it true that you'll be rejected if you make mistake when trying something new? Is it really true? Or is it just what you accepted as your fate without really questioning it? And is the person doing the rejecting someone who isn't supporting you? May I ask why you are listening to them? And have you considered that the person doing the rejecting is most likely you? Don't be a hostage of yourself and rob yourself of your dreams. Be daring and open to falling down so you can learn how to get back up, and that's how you can handle it. May I invite you to remember that you're capable of trying something new, making a mistake, and then learning from that mistake so you can do better. If you drive, you learn that. If you catch a bus, you navigated that. You learn to walk, you learn to ride a bike, you learn to write your name. And in every one of these activities, you make mistakes along the way, learn from them, and did a little better the next time. This let you know that you can take small steps and teach yourself how to handle what comes up along the way. You've done it before. Take a moment and recall when you've had to dig deep within you to learn something, and you've made mistakes, learn more, apply what you learned, and then got on with it. If you sit waiting until you know enough or feel confident enough before you act, then you're letting your fears drive your life, and that's not living. Your quest to your center self, just like in any great movie, is paved with mistakes, setbacks, unexpected twists and turns, breakthroughs, tragedies, and triumphs. The mess comes when you mistake your need to avoid the pain of making mistakes for an actual reason for not doing something. If the pathway to your own empowerment involves making mistakes, then make mistakes. Learn, grow, improve. Recognize that if you feel the fear and still take action, you will earn your courage. Now, take these 3 steps to take action in the face of your that you may get it wrong. Number 1, acknowledge to yourself that you're human. You're not perfect. You're learning, you're progressing, and you're here today to be a little better than you were yesterday. 2, pick one thing you can do that will move you toward being a better version of you. It can be the smallest thing, say, tidying up a room, or it could be something more significant, such as applying for the job you want. This can be anything, but it's going to be something that you will do, not something you just wish you do. 3, do the thing as soon as you make the commitment. Ideally, do it within 5 seconds of committing to it. If it's a bigger thing, break it down and do the first small step. Using the job application as an example, you've read the job ad. Now write down where you think you're a match. That's the first step, and you've done it. You've done the first thing. See you next one.